Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a country-styled home. I got the idea because I was thinking that it would be really cool if The Sims ended up building a pack that was based off of farming. Like, how cool would that be if we can have like little tractors and farm animals like pigs, horses, and chickens. We can even have like what is it called, farmers market, and like a little town crier. And it could even be based like back in the past where there's no electricity, or it could be like present day farming, and kids would even be able to be homeschooled in the game. Or there would be like little shops that are like selling jams, or there'd be like a center. Instead of it being a museum, it'd be a center where you can like sew or knit. Like, how cute would that be? And then you can have a blacksmith shop, and maybe you can buy like different pots and pans that can cook different types of recipes. Oh, and for the present day and the past day farming idea that I was talking about, you know how we're getting the magic world or the magic expansion pack? I was thinking that maybe you can go into like kind of like a portal or a different side of the world where one side is like past day of farming. So, you know, it'd be way back in the day where the town would be old. People would have like carriages and stuff like that to get around. And then maybe if you go on the other side of the portal, or I don't know what it would be, but not really a portal, then it would be present day. So it would be like farmland, like, I don't know, like out there in Pennsylvania. I think it'd be a great idea because I really love movies that are like way back in the day when there was barely any electricity. Like the show Anne with an E. I don't know if you guys watched that or not, but I really love that show. But for this build, I didn't make it like all the way in the farmland where nobody lives around or anything like that. Instead, I just made it in a neighborhood because I didn't really have an area to put this house that would be more secluded. So I just made it a regular basic like country styled home, but you get like a little backyard, so you don't have this build doesn't have like that whole farmland. I am thinking about building a different home that is a farmhouse, that is a better representation of what a farmhouse would be. So you would see like a lot of crops in the yard, maybe even like a vineyard, maybe places to keep animals, things like that. So I will probably go ahead and build that a little later on, so you'll be able to see that another time. The furniture in here is pretty old, and everything is pretty cozy, and it has a warm feeling to this home. I wanted to build this house with the idea that maybe everyone in this neighborhood knew each other. It kind of feels like a house that'd be put in a neighborhood where you can go next door and ask to borrow something, maybe if you ran out of sugar or you just wanted your kids to be able to play with each other. Nowadays, it's definitely not like that where you go next door to ask someone if they can play. Maybe you ride your bikes around town. Now you pretty much just text and see if you can hang out with your friend, or maybe you don't even do that because you're just on your phone all day. And kids have social media now, and I know when I was growing up we didn't really have anything like that. So I'm just imagining that this is a time period where kids actually went outside and played with one another, and the mailman came around to deliver news or mail instead of sending each other text messages. I still put some electronics here in the house, but the main idea is that news or communication was delivered in person instead of through a phone. So this house has 4 bedrooms. I wanted it to be pretty much a normal size family home where everyone gathered around the kitchen table downstairs to have breakfast, and the family's a little bit kind of close-knit. And they helped each other out around with house chores or yard work. I didn't add any pets in this house, but now looking back at it, I think I could have added maybe a family dog. I think that would have fit in this house pretty well with the family. Also, I'm trying to add more clutter items into my builds. I'm not really used to them. I'm more used to having builds that are modern, and maybe it's just like 1 or 2 different people living in the home, so it's not really too lived in. So I'm definitely trying to learn how to add the clutter items and make it work for the house. I'm also used to having the same type of colors, like maybe whites, grays, blacks in my build. So this is definitely something very different for me, since I'm adding a bunch of different color in the home, different color cabinets, different maybe bed colors, and little objects that are around that add a touch of color. I really love this woven rug that I used in the kitchen. I know I used it a couple times around in this build, but I added it to the kitchen because in my dad's house, he added a giant rug to his kitchen, and this kitchen reminded me a little bit of his kitchen, so I thought I would add it to this build. For this build, I did forget to add curtains. I'm not sure why I always forget to add them, but I did add it later on in the screenshots. I think it's just I'm so focused on decorating the house that I see that there's a window there and I don't think anything really needs to be added to it. And then for some reason later on I looked at it and I was like, this looks kind of plain, like something's missing. And that's when I realized I forgot the curtains, but that's definitely added later on in the screenshots, so you'll see that later. I feel like this house fits perfectly with the fall season. I think that maybe later on, if I end up ever getting the spooky pack, then I'll come in here and change it up and incorporate some of those items, because I think adding a pumpkin would be cute, and maybe I should have added the fall leaves to this build. There's still a lot of packs that I don't have. I just don't know which one I should get next, but I'm thinking about maybe the Island Living or the Get Together one, because those ones really stand out to me. And I do like the Strangerville items that they have. I think it would be really cute to make kind of an abandoned home, or maybe like an old shop that no one goes to anymore, or maybe a junkyard. I seen a build about a junkyard, and that kind of gave me ideas that I should make something like that. It'll definitely be time consuming though, because for a junkyard you have to add so much material to it and so many details and make it cluttered to the point where you can't walk. I already spent so many hours making these type of videos because it takes a while to build these homes and to decorate and add every detail to it, and then it's a whole process to upload the video, add the recording to it. And I feel like the recording is the hardest part for me, just because my speech isn't the best. I've always grew up not liking public speaking or anything that has to do with the presentation or interviews. It just gives me so much anxiety. It makes me freeze up, and I feel like I judge myself very harshly of what I sound like and whether or not if I do good or not. So it's definitely a struggle for me. But doing these voiceovers is definitely giving me some practice, because I would definitely like to improve my speaking skills. And then maybe I'll learn to not judge myself so harshly, and I can just learn to relax and know that it's not such a big deal. But anyways, back to this build. I am adding a brick wall, so then the house doesn't look like it's just one color. I didn't want it to look so basic or plain. I wanted to add something different to it. So I added brick where the chimney is, and I added brick along the other side of the house. And now for the roof, I know I used to struggle a lot with the roofs. I am still practicing how to put the roofs together, but I think I've gotten a lot better than what I'm used to doing, but it's still a work in progress. Here I'm adding a porch so you can have some lemonade on a nice hot summer day. And that just gave me an idea that it would be really cool if The Sims included maybe a lemonade stand for the kids to be able to build and raise some money. Because I know now you can have volunteering in the game. So what about maybe fundraising, like raising money with lemonade stands, or maybe Girl Scout cookies? Because they do have the Scouts, but I don't see that they have any like door-to-door selling. I think that'd be a really nice thing included in the game. I wish for the volunteering in this game you'd actually be able to go to it and play as a volunteer worker, instead of your Sims just going and doing volunteering like all secretly where you can't see what they're doing. I know some people want that with the jobs as well, or like with school. You just send your kids off to the school and you don't get to actually play in the school or with the jobs. Only with the careers, I think it's 3 careers for the get to work that you actually get to go and be hands-on with the game. But I actually haven't tried that yet, even though I just got the get to work. The reason I haven't tried out the career yet is because I just made my Sim transfer careers. So now they have one, I believe it's the nursing one. No. I made my husband in the game get the police officer career, but I don't know how to send them off to that career to be able to be hands-on. So maybe I should look it up. But also, I feel like I just didn't even put time into figuring it out. I just kind of made him switch careers and then I stopped playing for a little bit. So maybe I'll go back into playing and see how that works with the careers. I'm more of a building type of person rather than one that plays in The Sims. I know I've played quite a lot in The Sims, but I feel like I just got a little tired of it. I know that people really like The Sims 3 or the older ones, and I haven't played those ones yet at all. I'm only used to The Sims 4, but this game does seem pretty safe, I would say. I wish there would be able to have house robberies, maybe more ways to die, even though I don't want my Sims dying, but I just think it would add a little bit more interesting features to the game. So I'm more into building. I feel like I could just spend hours building on this game, rather than just sitting around and playing the game, even though I really do enjoy the game. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this build, and if you guys have any suggestions, then please go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. Feel free to tell me what you like, dislike about this build. Maybe if you have any ideas of what you would change in this build or incorporate. Maybe I missed something like adding fall essentials like the leaves. It would be great to add pumpkins to this build if I do end up getting the spooky pack, or just go ahead and give me ideas of what you'd like to see next. And before I forget, you could definitely see here that I did add the curtains to this build, so the windows are not naked, so don't worry about that. But I'll try to remember for next time to incorporate the curtains during the speed build. So I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed this build. Bye!